Going back through and reviewing last week's Air Force game, as I said, I thought after the game and said it to the team again on Monday, I think the real positive is it was a good team win in that I thought both offense and defenses complemented each other in different halves, where the first half the defense played a little bit better than the offense, but we go in with the 10-3 lead. And then in the second half, the offense picks it up. The defense got worked a little bit, wasn't quite as sharp, but we're still able to finish the game with the offense running the clock out in the last 3.5 minutes when they have 3 timeouts as well. So very physical running the ball and finishing the game that way. I thought the special teams complemented both offense and defense with field position. We had some big kickoff returns. Our coverage was outstanding, punt and kickoff. Jimmy Stevens kicked the ball really well. Tress Way averaged 50 yards a punt and kicked off really well. So, to put that together with the rest of it, was a positive win. No turnovers, very few penalties. So, when you play in a clean way that way, it really helps you in those style of games. Some guys that played well, Stacy McGee, Daniel Noble, Travis Lewis again, and Jonathan Nelson, Corey Nelson when he was in there. Offensively, again, DeMarco Murray, Ryan Broyles, Ryan again for a third straight game, over 100 yards in receiving. DeMarco had about 190 all-purpose yards. Landry played well. When you look at his statistics with 4 clear drops, he has a nice day. The couple throws at the end, he'd like to have back, but there in the fourth quarter. But other than that, really a pretty good day. And then, again, I talked about Jimmy Stevens, positive for him to hit the ball so well. Tress Way again, all those guys, were really solid. So anyway, now we're back to, at least defensively to a more conventional offense and working our techniques and schemes that we work through the year. Hopefully we can, as we come into this game, mix our coverages again, mix our blitzes, play some good technique. I thought just one technique area we weren't as strong in last week was just tackling, which, I've seen us tackle well in other games, and I believe we will. With something we'll work on hard this week, and then again, just continuing to improve. It's an early in the season still, first road game going to Cincinnati, and a team that was picked to win the Big East Conference, undefeated in regular season a year ago. So a team really had 18 straight wins coming into the year, regular season wins. So, a team that really has built a strong tradition in the last several years and used to winning. And so going to their place will be another challenge. But we're going to be on the road, as we go through the season. So it'll be a huge test, just to start the year to handle the crowd, to have the maturity and discipline to go on the road and play a good, solid game. Well, it's, some parts have been really good and other parts haven't been. So I think that's obvious to everybody. I think, again, it's still a work in progress, and I think it will benefit us to work more traditional coverages and defenses that we work through the year, as opposed to some we've had to employ because of, the option styles that we've seen.
How about the play of your linebackers? Tom's a freshman, hasn't played much. You have an experienced player, even at the Sam, or whatever you call your nickel, you're playing a freshman here too.
Yeah, Tony's played really well out at the Sam position. Joe Ibaloya has played out there some with them and is making good improvement. Travis, of course, has been outstanding, and Tom has been good. Tom has been very solid, good. There are some plays again that he'll continue to improve as he goes, but those guys for the most part have played well.
There's so much expectation for Ronald Lewis coming in. I understand different offenses, but coaches, including you guys, always say you want to put your best 11 out there. I think most of us would have thought that he would have been part of that best 11.
And he's working his way to being that. Ronell is a very good talent, and I think it's just continuing to gain the trust. What isn't talked about a lot is Ronell has missed a lot due to academic reasons in the spring and in the summer in two-a-days. and due to an ankle injury. So some of that is still gaining the time on the field and practice and discipline in practice, and to continue to trust him. That's our job, to continue to bring him along, and I believe he will. Ronell works hard. He's got a great attitude. And so again, it's just finding what works best for him and where we can, we can have the most trust in him as well. And sometimes, when you haven't been on the field a lot or you have missed an extended period of time, middle backer's pretty hard to handle if you've missed a good bit of time.
So are you looking, you looked at him at weak side or strong side? Now you're
Well,
looking
what
middle and
he played Sam linebacker all last year when there's a tight end in the game. And
it sounds like three different positions.
well, if you want to look at it that way, it is. But it's also, when you're playing on the edge of the defense, playing a block is playing a block. Whether you're defensive end or Sam linebacker, you're doing the same thing. So, and we rush our Sam, or sometimes we drop our defensive ends when we zone blitz. So some of it correlates. You could say it's different positions, and it is, but that's complex defense anymore. We're not going to sit and play one defense all day. We're going to be multiple. We line up to other people's formations with different personnel groupings. Have for 12 years and will for 12 if I'm here 12 more. So, that's part of him being on the field and understanding it and learning it, and our job teaching it to him, and repping it to where he's comfortable. And I believe as we go, that'll happen.
What's your injury situation? Alexander, Taylor, they get healthier?
They are. They've been practicing and seem to be improving, every day.
Box, finishing play.
Austin Box has had no setbacks. I think they're looking, for Austin to be back somewhere around Iowa State. And let's see, Roy is out of the cast in a boot now, doing rehab and feels good. Brennan Clay, symptoms are clearing up, feels good, but we won't turn him loose this week.
Cincinnati offensively, are they trying to concentrate on running the football somewhere?
They run it, but they're a spread attack. They'll give you 3 and 4 wide receivers, 1 back sets, motion back into 2 back sets. A lot of what you see from the spread teams. Zone read. Some of that some quarterback run game. Zach Caleros, their quarterback's a pretty good runner, and they try and get him the ball some that way. But he's also a good throwing the football. So, but a spread attack that you're seeing from quite a few people anymore.
Is it similar to Kelly ran?
Yeah, there's some similarities.
Bob, is this team where you had hoped it would be before you came to the season?
Probably. In the end, it's still early. We've been solid in some areas, and we've been a little inconsistent. But what's been positive is that you've seen some true positives in a lot of areas, and through 3 games. You can, again, we're working on some of the inconsistencies or some parts where we didn't play quite as well as we thought we could have, and that's part of being early in the year, ironing some things out. But again, I thought, for instance, the discipline we played with last week, with the few penalties, the execution at the end of the game, particularly, of course, on offense. And, I think it's fair to say a year ago we wouldn't have done that. And I think it was obvious that we did it in a very solid way the other day, and that's positive.
Do you learn a lot more about a team when you're on the road?
Sure, to a degree, you do. Just again, how you're gonna, what kind of character, toughness, and attitude you have, and so it makes a difference.
You're talking about running out the clock and making those plays. Is that more of a mental test that's passed than a physical one?
I think it's both, because you're mentally you're blocking and who you're supposed to be. You're not having foolish penalties. You're executing properly, again, with all your assignments, but you're coming off the ball and moving people too when you have to, and so I think all of it, together, mentally and physically.